Hi, I'm George, the Weather Dad, to take a look at your weekly weather. Also, take a look at next week. This next couple of days, sit back and enjoy some beautiful fall weather. But by next week, now we're talking about some a significant change that's going to occur across most of the northern half of the U.S., and we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at Wednesday's high temperatures. I'm not going to show you Tuesday's because basically what you see here is the same as what we're going to see tomorrow. High temperatures, normals, mid 70s for highs, mid 50s for lows. And you can see here, though, we're going to see temperatures a little bit above normal. I think we'll be in the 80s, but with low humidities and nighttime temperatures down in the 60s and 50s. Just gorgeous, gorgeous fall weather right here in the Midwest. Some cloud cover down in the southeast and in the mid-Atlantic region up in towards the northeast, and rather unsettled weather off towards the west. By Thursday, not much change. It does expand a little bit there. You see temperatures again pretty much probably in the lower 80s for the most part here in the Ohio Valley. Friday, still pretty much the same thing. By Saturday, things starting to change a little bit. You see this area there, that line? It's starting to move a little bit further towards the east and southeast. That's going to be the big change that we'll see, I think, by next week. Here on Sunday, you see that line very, very nicely. That's that cold front still, though. Before that, temperatures are going to be fairly warm. Look what happens by next Wednesday. Wow. Cold across the northern half of the country, and cold is all relative. Well, I think we'll see temperatures here in the Ohio Valley. I think that front will be pushing its way through, so we'll get some rain. We've been very dry again, so we'll get some more rain here in the Ohio Valley. But look at that difference there in temperatures, and that front is going to be pushing its way towards the southeast. But that's also good news for the tropics and for the southeast and Florida and Gulf Coast, because that frontal system will push its way down, and anything that forms in the Atlantic and even down into the Gulf of Mexico will probably stay further down towards the south. Let's talk precipitation. Not much really going on. Unsettled weather off to the west, and you see here down in the southeast, and then you see the two systems there, a couple of hurricanes out in the Atlantic. And now this is for Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're going to merge. It's really interesting how these two are interacting with each other, but they're going to stay away from us for the most part. But look how dry it is across most of the eastern half of the country. Here by Thursday, that doesn't change. Down in the southeast Florida, you're going to have somewhat of a wet time. By Friday, that doesn't change. Wet down to the south, down along the Gulf Coast, Florida, pretty dry right here. Again, unsettled weather out into the Rockies, heading on into the weekend. Again, wet down in the southeast. There's that system starting to get itself organized. You can kind of see it there. And then the frontal system is going to get more active, and it's going to start pulling up some moisture from the southeast, and that's going to be, again, for next week. But those of you down in this area, it is going to be rather unsettled. And here's that frontal system. Take a look. Look how the thing arches, and that high pressure system will be pushing its way towards the southeast and giving us a change in our weather. But that's not until next week. Before that, sit back and enjoy some beautiful fall-like temperatures. I'm George, the Weather Dad.